Well, a disabled veteran in Pueblo cannot return to the home that he's lived in for 18 years.
That's because there are squatters on the property, and it's led to some squalid conditions that has left neighbors, relatives very frustrated. They pleaded with the courts, law enforcement, and public health officials, all they say without much help.
So they reached out to News 5. Our Andy Cohen joins us in studio with more on that story. Andy?
Rob and Diane, Ray Rico made a couple of choices this past fall that came back to hurt him. He was fighting with the neighbors and ended up getting arrested. He also let a homeless man stay in his house, which started the squatting situation. A warning, some of the video we're about to share may be difficult to watch.
This is the bars that we put up on the window.
Regina Livengood is Ray Rico's daughter. She's showing us the condition of her dad's property because he can't be here himself. More on that in a moment. First, the public health hazard.
They are defecating in buckets or 2-liter plastic bottles and either leaving it in the yard or throwing it on adjoining neighbor's property.
That's a bucket of human waste spilled on the ground. There's another out in the alley.
I want to see it cleaned up. I don't want to see buckets of poop or pee.
She thinks the people living in her dad's cellar empty their waste out here because there's no running water or sewer connection in that part of the house.
We've changed the locks. We've had the police out here multiple times.
And the police contacted the health department, who called Regina to ask for access to the property.
I called back, a couple hours later, and I said, I just was wondering about a time, what's this look like? And they said, actually, I talked to my supervisor, and because they're choosing to live that way, there's nothing that the health department can do.
Now I feel frustrated. My hands are tied.
Ray said the squatting began when he left his home to start a substance abuse program. That was in November, a few weeks after his arrest. At the time, he was letting another man stay in the house in exchange for help fixing up the property.
He needed some work, and I helped him with some temporary work.
He said that man took over the house while he was away and let the others in. He also claims the squatters went through his mail, accessed his bank accounts, and stole his identity. Now, because of the squatting and a restraining order from that arrest, he cannot return home.
It's my house that I owned for 18 years. It's paid off. I can't go on my own property because they feel that I'm going to threaten them and endanger their life.
I told him as a friend, I said, dude, don't be letting these people in your house because they're going to steal from you, they're going to do all this. He wouldn't listen.
Tommy Morley lives a couple houses over, and like Regina, he also called code enforcement many times to report the squatters.
They tell me, well, you got to call Pueblo City Police. Pueblo City Police said you got to call health department. Health department told me one time you had to call code enforcement. So it's nobody wants to take the responsibility for what's going on.
You may remember our investigative series on squatters, which led to changes in state law to speed up certain evictions. Well, that emergency protection does not apply in this case because of the verbal agreement Ray made with the squatter. Ray and Regina have tried once before to evict them, but the case was thrown out.
When we file the eviction process, you have to have them properly served. So I go to the sheriff's office and I pay to have them properly served. They come and serve him. And I did tell them, I said, what happens, I need you to sign an affidavit saying that you served them. No, you just take this receipt to court and that proves it. It just says I paid for it. And they said, no, they'll know. So we go to court. They weren't properly served. They say they didn't have enough time. So case dismissed. Didn't ask any questions.
Which brings us back to those buckets of poop. I shared a photo of it with the health department, and they came back out this week and condemned the property. But Ray and his family are still frustrated by the ordeal.
My dad served this country. He is a Marine Corps vet. And right now he is displaced. He is homeless. How is that possible?
They say they just wanted someone to listen to them and help.
We just took a shot in the dark, and I guess maybe you guys will help, and I hope this does help, and other people going through this stuff too. Hope it breaks some ties with the judicial system or just local authorities.
Ray and Regina went back to court. There was another eviction hearing this Thursday. Yesterday, this time around, the squatter was properly served. However, the judge told Ray and his daughter that they must subpoena the health department to prove that that house is truly condemned. Huh?
Wow, just an amazing story, Andy. You're going to be following up on this for sure to see what happens. Wow.